Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and I'm here today to give a review for this 1/6 scale radio control Vantex / Fuyuan M4A3 Sherman tank. Now this Sherman tank is from the Chinese manufacturer Fuyuan, and it is made entirely out of GRP fiberglass. After hearing some buzz on the internet for this vehicle, I decided to do a review for it. This version here is the electric variant. They also have a gasoline version, but for this review we're going to be doing the electric. Alright, first of all, as we do a quick look around the vehicle, you can see that this version is the late M4A3 Sherman tank. Now the company has currently two other offerings. They have the early M4 with the early bow hatches in the front and no engine grill in the back with the early type slope front clashes plate. Then they also have an M4A3 105, which has the same body, different mantle, and a different gun, the short stubby 105mm howitzer. The details overall are very basic. The tank itself is almost like a hang long in a way, you know, when it comes to detail quality, where the details are there, but for once I start building this tank, I will be replacing all these molded in details with East Coast Armory components. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the suspension. Tank suspension is the vertical volute spring suspension system, the VVSS, and I'm going to start with the track. Track is the rubber chevron type used on Shermans. It's this one on this model. It's all comprised out of die-cast metal, which is nicely done. It's a nice feature. It's probably one of the best features of the whole model. The track itself, you know, the real one's supposed to be rubber, but this one it's metal, so that when you're driving your tank, the paint's going to scratch off, leaving steel instead of chipped rubber. So that could be an issue to watch out for. So keep driving on hard surfaces as a minimum, just to keep the paint from scratching. The sprocket itself is supposed to be the late style sprocket with no spokes, and it itself is also die-cast. Also very, very nicely done. Will last a very long time. For the tank's vertical volute spring suspension system, the kit supplies you with a nice set of very detailed and full functional VVSS suspensions. The suspension itself is full function in that the swing arms do function and are supported by very powerful springs that will keep the tank from sagging or drooping during operation. The wheels themselves are the early spoked version of the M4 Sherman wheels. These are the only wheels that come with these Vantex Shermans, and them themselves are nicely done. The wheel is made out of metal. It has a real rubber rim road wheel, or rubber tire. The swing arms are also made out of metal. The boogie housing themselves is made out of fiberglass. The skid rail and return roller are metal. Now, one thing that kind of hurts the look of the tank is that the spring used, as I said before, is that of like a heavy-duty radio-controlled car shock absorber. Now, it gives you very good performance. However, it doesn't quite look as good as the real one. The real Sherman had a suspension that looked like this one here. See here, this is one of my Resson suspension pieces. Now, the spring looks more like this one, which would be a clockwork spring, and the spring would then compress into the bogey housing here. And over here in the swing arm would have this little shelf. On the Vantex Sherman, it's missing. This will have to be covered up somehow with a detail component. For the tank's idler wheel, the model gives you this fully metal, fully aluminum idler wheel with a rubber rim on it. The idler wheel itself is in scale and is very nicely done and very nicely detailed. However, on a real Sherman tank, the idler was not rubber rimmed, like the one on this model here. Performance-wise, it works perfectly, and the rubber rim is not a real big deal. It's just that when I paint the tank over, I'm just going to paint over the whole wheel and not worry about the rubber. Another thing to keep in mind is that this tank does not have under-sponsons underneath. It's like a 1/35 scale Tamiya tank, which means is that when you look below, you can see the other side. This is going to have to be fixed with actually building up the tank side hull and the sponson, which I will be doing later on. Okay, now we're going to go and look at the tank's details. Tank gives you very basic details, as I mentioned earlier, like similar and hen-long quality. Here goes the hatch. This is the loader's hatch, full function. Here's the copula, the early split ring copula, which again is also full function. The copula itself it's nicely done. You can work with it. It's just that on this tank I will be replacing it with the late copula with the single hatch. Here's another shot of the mantlet. 75mm gun. The screws up here. On the real Sherman they should be slot screws, instead they're Phillips. That's an easy fix to change. Here's a shot of the basic gunner periscope guard. Here are the bow hatches. Bow hatches are nicely done in the fact that they open properly. They open forward and out. There's no interior detailing whatsoever on the hatches, though. So that's again easy scratch building to remedy. Here goes the travel lock here. 30 cal headlights, and what is supposed to be the horn or the siren on the real tank, and apparently the company didn't realize it's a siren because they added a clear piece of plastic to the front here. We go to the fenders. Fenders a little bit clunky and out of scale. They will be replaced with sheet metal ones. Moving back, you can see the fire extinguisher, or what's supposed to be the tank's fire extinguisher, the fuel caps, and the engine bay. Very simple, the way it opens up, and there gives you a quick look at the inside. Now I'll go into that later in another video. Alright, spare track racks, storage rack with gun cleaning kit, and exhaust blower, or the exhaust grill. All of these will be replaced. They will not be used. Tank does give you a basic exhaust and a basic tow hitch. Again, all of these details will be replaced. There's the 50 caliber storage pintle mount right here. As soon as it zooms, focuses in. Okay. There are the 50 caliber storage rails, and this is the well over here for the MP48 spring antenna base. Okay, so there's the tank. The tank also supplies you with a lot of little accessories, so I have them here in this bag. The accessories themselves are just very basic, and I will probably not be using any of them. But here we go. Here's the tank's 50 caliber machine gun. It's a very simplistic. You go to tank's tools here. And here you go to tank's Pioneer tools. You got a shovel, a sledge, and an axe. A couple jerry cans. They mostly give you these probably just to put on the storage rack. You get 2 jerry cans, like this one, and a handful of these 50 caliber ammo cans. These appear to be resin, or fiberglass resin. You get a few of these fiberglass GRP helmets. A basic searchlight. A wrench. And a pickaxe head. You also get, this is the kit's version of the MP48 spring antenna base. And if you know anything about spring antenna bases, that this piece here is way off. What's the nicest feature is they give you a section of spare track. Now this track is the exact same type of track that's on the tank right now. You get the good feel of the thickness. Again, it's all die cast. And to pop the pins here, you have a flat pin on one side, flathead like a nail. And on the other side, you have a small lock washer. You pop that lock washer out, and you pull the pin out, and you pop the track.